Alright, welcome back to your first Chrono Trigger speedrun. And we are ready to head up to Dalton. So we just did Giga, and you'll of course, I skipped over the part, but you'll of course get Dalton coming in, a Scala coming in, and then Dalton comes in and captures her and runs away, and then you talk to Melchior. He'll give you the ruby knife and say throw it into the Mammoth machine. And then that's kind of where we're going. So we're going to go back up to Zeal. And whereas before the portals were closed, since Scala came back down, they're open again. And so we're going to do the same pathing up to the palace. I'm not going to stop anywhere on the way this time. It's just straight to the palace. All right, once we're back in the palace, so you're not going to go right to Dalton, you're going to come up. There's a couple ways up here. You can actually come up these stairs if you want. I'm actually not sure which is faster. I tend to come straight up here. But yeah, then you come through here, you want to get healed here. And you want to talk to this plant lady. And you want to make sure you say the right thing here. Basically, the queen ordered her to destroy this plant. Oh, and I just did it wrong. All right, I'll show you where the backup is because of that. So basically, you got to be real careful about what you say here. So it says, hey, should I destroy this plant like the queen said? And you want to say no. I just said yes, which is great for this tutorial video because we can show you what happens as a backup for that. This doesn't matter right now, but later on, when we want to go fight Melfix, she has had to have planted the plant so that the forest grows, basically. So at this point, we won't get the forest and we won't get Melfix down there messing up the forest until we tell her to plant the plant. But yeah, we'll come back to that. The backup for that is when all this goes down, when you go to the leftover town people after the Ocean Palace falls, the plant lady will be there too, and you can talk to her again there. It'll probably be in a different video. All right, so we're going to come into Dalton here. This Dalton fight is pretty simple. We are, I think, by default on battle speed 2. It can be good to do this at a higher battle speed, because if it's fairly tight, and every attack, Dalton counterattacks with a half health drop, and at the end he will burp and do a bunch of damage. So we pretty much want everybody to live. I think, yeah, for tech routes, we want everybody to live for this fight, if possible. But the basic strat is Chrono, Falcon Strike, and Luca just holds ATB, and then Ayla Falcon Strike, Luca Fire, and then just turbo out one more Falcon Strike. So basically what happens is Dalton will counterattack Chrono, counterattack Ayla, counterattack Luca, and then you try to get in the last Falcon Strike before he actually does something that's not a counterattack. If you don't do that, somebody's probably going to die. Like I said, it's okay. It doesn't end the run. But for tech route stuff to go the best, we really want people to live. If someone was to die, Chrono dying is the least worrisome, because he's going to die anyway coming up. And his tech route, we should still get his tech route where it needs to be. We just need Lightning 2 before Golem Twins, and we will most likely get that anyway. So that's really the main thing. All right, let's give it a try. All right, so he's all upset that he's babysitting, blah, blah, blah. All right, so Falcon Strike, hold ATB, auto battle, wait for the counterattack, pop out. The cool thing is Chrono and Ayla should already be on Falcon Strike, and so it should be pretty quick. We're going in here, we're going to do fire. And then we're just going to final turbo the last Falcon Strike. And that's it. And then he'll burp, do some damage. And since, oh man, Chrono's at 5 health. What's funny is on my RNG manip route, on the exact seed, he does exact damage on Chrono's health, so Chrono does die there. So I actually take Luca's first turn to potion Chrono. But in general, you usually don't have to worry about that, but if you wanted like a safety thing, you could also do that. Don't worry about healing or anything right now, because we're going to go down to the Ocean Palace. And there's a save point right there, so we can shelter. Okay, so yeah, first thing on the save point, we want Chrono. We're going to give them a Zoic Mail. Fun fact, the only reason we pick up the Mesoic Mail is because we need to get the Ruby Vest off of Chrono. Because Chrono's going to die, and all his gear that he has goes away. And we won't have access to it until we resurrect him. So yeah, Mesoic Mail, Shelter. And then I like to set, if you're still doing Battle Speed 2, I like to do Battle Speed 3 here. You could go a little lower if you want as well. Most of the stuff in here is fine on Battle Speed 2, except the wizards. The wizards? The guys that, their first turn, they're gonna lock out your techs. Those are the scary guys. And so if you can't be fast enough, and sometimes it's hard to be fast enough for those guys, it's just better, I find, on Battle Speed 3. So, and then we're gonna talk to our good friend Mune. We get a little bit of cutscene from the bottom before we continue. And then we're gonna make our way through the Ocean Palace. Enjoy the tunes. All right, we're gonna first come into this room here. We're gonna hit the switch and just escape. Cool. Now, we're gonna come down here, and I used to think you had to fight these guys. You don't. You don't need that chest over there. All you gotta do is come down here and just exit, and you're fine. So that's a key thing there. Yeah, they won't even aggro. All right, then we're gonna come down here. You want this chest, but I find if you hit this chest from the bottom, it'll start to aggro these lightning guys, and it becomes kind of hard. So I like to come right up to the chest on the side and open it, and that's our Aeon suit, and then we can just easily get past these guys. As soon as you come in here, you want to diagonally into the middle and straight down, and then you're coming in here getting the Kaiser arm. We're going to stick around here, and we're going to hit another switch here. And then we're going back out. Quick and easy room. Those are the only 2 switches we need. I like to come up the middle here and then just wait for them to pass before leaving the room. Come through here. You'll see these guys start to come down, but it's fine. Let's just stay as low as you can. And then as you come in this room, you want to hold left. And then you can go down the stairs. All right, so there are several encounters on the way down here. We're going to escape some. We're going to take some. So this first one, we're going to escape. All right, and then there's these guys. All right, you want, fun fact, you want to like get as close to these guys on the right as you can while they're in the air. And you can get like right up to them, like really close to them, as long as they're in the air. But when they come down, that's when you will get them. So this will skip an encounter if you get all 4. If you skip all but 1, you still get the encounter. That's just, and you just escape it, it's fine. Also, if you skip the first 2 and you're fast, you can skip the last 2 altogether. So anyways, we skip that encounter, and then we're gonna come down, and this encounter you could skip, but we wanna take it. So you'll have to kind of move up and down until you get it. And then they should be lined up right away for Falcon Strike. It's really easy to just take them out. And then we should, I think that's when Chrono gets lightning too, is what we just saw there. Yeah, so this is his final tech point route, so we're really not worried about him dying at this point. Another one we can't escape from here. This guy comes down and throws some guys at us. We're gonna take it with a Falcon Strike. But this one's harder to line up. So right away, you see there's 2 and 2. You can sometimes get them to line up a little better, but it might take some time. Yeah, I think this one lines up there. So, but the other option if you want to be fast is to do 2 Falcon Strikes, but you have to keep in mind your MP. Basically, with all the fights that we've calculated all the way through the end of the elevator coming up, if you can calculate it perfectly, we should end up with 0 MP on Chrono and Ayla by the end of the elevator. But if you're not careful, then you might end up with 0 MP during one of those fights, and then you have to throw some extra mid-ethers and it slows down everything. So I like to, this fight is there's a couple fights where we can do an extra Falcon Strike and still be okay with MP. So this is one of them. So if we had to do 2 Falcon Strikes here, that would be okay, but that would mean the one on the elevator we're gonna get to later, we wouldn't be able to do it there. So, but since this time we got all 4, we don't have to worry about it. All right, the other thing I need to mention, when we just did that tech with Chrono, actually I guess, yeah, how to best explain this? When you get a new tech on a character, whatever your tech memory was in a battle, it resets back to the top. So you cannot just turbo through blindly sometimes, and so that's something to be very careful of. We just got Lightning 2 on Chrono before that fight, and if you noticed when I hit tech, it was on Cyclone instead of on Falcon Strike, even though we had Falcon Strike in the previous fight. So just be mindful of that as you're getting faster. Same thing with Ayla. Ayla's going to be coming through here, and she's going to end up back on Kiss on one of these fights, and we have to be mindful that we can't just turbo into Falcon Strike. All right, this is another cutscene with Massa. Now, for safety, let's say you had to do 2 Falcon Strikes on the last fight, and you didn't want to worry about calculating, or you still want to take another Falcon Strike on the elevator. You can do an extra shelter down here. You have to be quick about it. I guess I'll demonstrate it, because I used to do this on the route. It is faster to not have to do this, but it's just nice and it makes things easier. So we're going to come down here, and you're going to come straight over to the shelter. You're going to shelter, and you saw how fast I did that to try to make sure we didn't aggro those guys. All right, so we coming into this room, and this is our first wizard. And if he locks out Chrono or Ayla's techs, we can't Falcon Strike. And so you'll have to use the Panacea and try again. So it's just a huge slowdown if that happens. I like to take note, like, okay, I Falcon Striked on Chrono last time, so he's on tech. So I should be able to kind of blast right through. But I'm also a little wary about it. Oh, what if it's on Cyclone? So let's see what we got here. Okay, we're on Falcon Strike, but you saw, like, this is Battle Speed 3, and this is totally doable on 3. If you get into Battle Speed 2, sometimes the wizard will still beat you and lock out Chrono or Ayla's techs. Or you might get lucky and he'll only lock out Luca's techs, and then you're fine. So anyways, we're going to Falcon Strike. The default target is fine, the wizard and 2 of these guys. And then I just let Luca auto-battle out. It's totally fine. And then Ayla at this point is not on tech, so we got to put her on tech, and then Falcon Strike the other 2. All right, now take note of your techs as we come through here. You should expect Luca is not quite on fire 2 here, and she needs 7 TP, and so we expect to pop out and pop back in and do that fight again. Okay, and we're still on Falcon Strike. So this should get Luca Fire 2. Very important that that lines up. So there's Fire 2. Because now we're taking Luca out and we're putting Robo in. This part of the TP route will make more sense later, because the next fight that Luca and Robo are in, they will get Fire Tackle. But they won't necessarily do that if Luca hasn't gotten Fire 2 yet. So that's key, but that's like much later. For right now, we're getting Robo in the party, and what we want with Robo is, I believe once he gets Robo Tackle, maybe? Yeah, I think when he gets Robo Tackle, then Ayla and Robo get a tech called Boogie. And Boogie will stop mobs, so it's a status effect. And we're going to use that on Golem Twins. It's going to be key for the Golem Twins fight. So anyways, let's do the elevator. And elevator is a lot of just Falcon striking around. Okay, this first fight. Okay, here's Chrono again is back to Cyclone here. So he must have, he just learn Raise? What did he learn? Actually, I'm not sure why he's back to Cyclone there. Oh, maybe he gained a level or something? I don't know. I'm confused about that. But anyways, just be careful. Like I said, you may not be on Falcon Strike here when you hit tech, so be ready for that. And we're gonna Falcon Strike these 3 guys first. You can let Robo auto battle things out. He's not gonna do a lot of damage right now because the default target is this guy that's protected. All right, but then we got Ayla. And she's going to Falcon Strike both these guys. If these guys aren't lined up, just try to go for the blue one, I believe. Because the other one's protected by the blue one, and then it won't take a lot of damage until the blue one's dead. But if you can get them both, that's good too. And then here's where you can choose to auto battle, or to auto battle this guy out. Or here's your extra Falcon Strike on the elevator. So if you didn't have an extra Falcon Strike and you didn't shelter, this is your one extra Falcon Strike here. Reasoning behind using Falcon Strike here versus auto battle is the next fight is a wizard fight, and any delay, if we auto battle here, we'll be on attack on Chrono, and we'll have to go down to tech and into the tech menu, and that little bit of delay is sometimes enough for the wizard to lock techs out. And so I like to try to keep Chrono on tech here to finish this fight off just for that purpose. All right, here's our wizards. And this one too, we have 2 wizards. All right, and then we're gonna take them out. Falcon Strike. I think you don't want Robo to auto battle here, because I believe if there's 2 of these guys, they tend to counterattack. You'll notice Ayla's on Kiss now, and so she just learned Charm, I think. So anyways, we're gonna Falcon Strike these guys out. And then we have one final elevator fight. And we're already on Falcon Strike. I think you don't want to auto battle Robo here either. But we're going to Falcon Strike and try to get these guys lined up. They're slightly out of place. There we go. So that should do the job. All right, so during that, because Robo learned what he was supposed to learn, we now have Boogie. And that is the Ayla Robo thing that we need that will stop mobs, which will be very important for Golem Twins. So we're going to come into these rooms, we're going to hit switches. This guy's guarding, we're going to escape, but we're not going to auto battle. That's key for a couple reasons. One, those things counterattack, so slower situation. And then 2, we want to keep Chrono on tech. For the Golem Twins fight. It just makes things a lot smoother and faster. Also, don't forget to hit the switch. Sometimes you get into these runs so much that you're just like, oh yeah, and you're talking and you're doing something in the room and you leave. It's like, no, you need to do 2 things in each of these rooms, and that is escape and hit the switch. Also, don't jump on this switch too early, because it'll just do an animation and then obviously it's not ready, so you just kind of get delayed. Same thing, hit the switch, and now we're ready to go towards Golem Twins. All right, so Golem Twins does have some RNG that you need to know about. We're gonna grab this elixir. We're going to shelter, and then I do like to do battle speed 2. I think it's still doable on 3 and 4, but there is something weird about how long stop lasts on higher battle speeds. I remember there being something weird about that, so just be careful. Higher battle speed is not necessarily, or slower battle speed is not necessarily better. But the strat for Golem Twins, we're going to pop in here. And Golem Twins will do really bad physical attacks if they're on physical, but every time you hit them with something, they use that. And so lightning will do lightning 2, water will do just a single water attack, but physical does these really like half your health and then these really painful physical attack, fire physical attack thing. So what we're going to do is immediately we're going to, with Chrono, do lightning 2, and that will like pause what they're going to do and keep them from doing any physical attacks, make them kind of like, oh, I need to reconsider and do a lightning attack next. And then while they're considering that, we pop into Ayla's tech menu and do Boogie with Ayla and Robo, and that should stop both of them. And from there, it's just Falcon Strike 5 times and you're done. While the Falcon Strikes are happening, you can use Robo to mid-potion people that are low health, because during those first couple attacks, somebody probably got hit. Again, if Chrono dies on this fight at the end, it's not a big deal. They will burp at the end, just like Dalton. But Robo and Ayla need to survive the fight. Actually, does Ayla even need to? On this route, I guess Ayla technically might not need to, but it's better if she does. So yeah, we'll give this a try. The thing that can go wrong here is you don't get lightning 2 off fast enough and somebody dies. And then RNG wise, when you go to Boogie, only one of them gets stopped. And then you're stuck with one just still like throwing stuff at you. And so if that happens, most of the time you want to ult F4 and try again. Sometimes you can recover that, but rarely can you recover that. So let's see what happens on this seed, I guess. All right, Chrono got first ATB, which is nice. We're gonna lightning 2. Real quick into Ayla's menu, over to Boogie, and then Prage. Okay, stop landed on both, so we're golden. They can't do anything at this point. We're gonna Falcon Strike. Robo got hit, so we're gonna mid potion with him. I'm gonna switch Ayla's to Falcon Strike. This is our second Falcon Strike. Third. And then mid potion again with Robo. Fourth. You can also near the end let Robo auto battle it out. This should kill. All right, there you go. So there's the burp. It'll be a double burp because there's 2 of them. And GG's. So yeah, it usually goes pretty well, but yeah, it can be very scary if you can't get that lightning 2 off fast enough. Sometimes Ayla gets first ATB, which is bad, because you might think, oh, but then we can do stop sooner, right? But no, Robo is so slow that you're waiting for Robo's ATB before you can do the stop, and that's why we kind of trigger them with the lightning 2 first. So if Ayla gets first ATB, try to get over to Chrono as fast as you can to get lightning 2 off. But it's it's a good bet that you won't be able to. So Alt F4 is your friend, and try again when those two things happen. If Ayla gets first ATB, and if only one of them gets stopped. All right, the rest is just a cutscene here. Kind of, this is a longer cutscene. You don't want to go take a bathroom break yet until after Chrono dies, because there is a real cutscene that you'll have to cancel out of manually after Chrono dies, and then you can take a nice bathroom break. It's about a minute or two. It might be like a full 2 minutes, because then Lavos comes out and destroys the Kitty Mazil and all that stuff. So I'll just fast forward through this part for this video, for the purpose of this video. Actually, no, let's just I'll just finish this out, and we'll move on to the next video, which will be what we do after Chrono dies. So I'll see you then in the next video.